Hi, babe. Thank you once again for tuning in to MVB Life Empowerment Sessions. We're going to have another couple talk conversation today. And yeah, getting started was quite challenging. Don't you think, Mr. Boateng?
So as always,
Yes, as always. Care to give them a little gist?
she always complaining about everything. It's okay.
Why are you making it seem like I give you a hard time? Guys, making a video for you is such work. The lighting sometimes is not great, and they're like little things that cannot take come into play. So I was just trying to ask you to perfect things a little bit so that you our viewers can have a better you know better video. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I
are,
agree.
are you sleepy?
Now I'm wide awake.
You wait away. Actually, it's like almost 12 midnight, and it's a Friday night. So we just figured why not have a couple talk conversation since we were still up. Is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers today?
Just love us wherever you are, and we will love you back.
We love you too, guys. So we'll just have a quick segment today. And again, we do these impromptu kind of couple talk conversations because we think they're very helpful to us and to other people out there that are like us. So I have a few questions for Mr. Boateng because, in the first few segments, I'm going to be asking my husband questions so he can give his perspective and I can give my own perspective. Hopefully, it also helps, right?
Yeah,
So, what would you say is the most challenging aspect so far of marriage?
you
In what way?
getting to know the other person is like the most hardest and difficult. Because we evolve every day, we grow every day, we learn new things every day. So getting to really understand, know what the other person wants to do, think, like planning to do, although we will put them in writing and talk about it, but just getting onto the same page, getting to know the person as we grow every day is like one of the hardest things.
Yes, definitely knowing what the other person likes and also kind of trying to make it merge with what you also like. Because remember, you're two separate individuals, but the only way to make relationships work is by learning how to compromise, I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah, learning how to compromise, I think that's a big deal. And communication, I think, is key. Please share. I see you shaking your head.
She talk too much. That is the whole point. It's like she think talking too much is communication, basically, but that isn't.
But when you say I talk too much, explain further. Because I'm communicating in words.
Communication is like it's in so many like angles, talking, shaking head, shaking hands, knocking the head, like that's so bad. It's like it's not like blah, 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 talk. That is not communication, basically.
No, but like, okay, obviously we've been taught growing up, right? That you communicate with words, you communicate with actions, right? So, from what I understand, men kind of view communication in a different way compared to
It's not man.
females.
We all do.
So okay, tell us from your side of the story, what kind of communication are you looking for? Because we understand words,
When we say we, it's like
as in
it's
I
like
as a female. I don't know about other females out there, but I understand
she just
words
love to
and
talk.
actions.
That's it.
But I don't just talk. I talk with a focus, addressing issues. I feel like from a female point of view, I can't speak for other females, but like from my point of view, I feel like if I want something done or if I want to be understood, I have to make sure I say it. so you know what it is that I mean. I don't want you to assume what I mean.
That's understandable.
Exactly. So that, like, when I talk too much to make sure you understand what I mean. But
Like
the
what?
question,
When you say
but
I
now,
don't hear you,
yes. So I don't know other females out there, other wives, or other people in relationships. Do you ever go through this same situation where you ask a guy a question or you say something and you don't get the answer right away? And you're like, I need an answer because things need to happen. But it seems like you guys take your precious time to answer certain things. Tell us why.
so this is a whole different thing from communication. Like when you have to take your time to think through things just to make sure you have all like your answers right. You don't want to make mistake. That is one thing. And where let's talk and it's like okay, you come up with just one statement, one sentence, and then someone is talking about a whole paragraph. It's like okay, this is what we want to talk about, and then I have to be like
R-
okay.
Right, you have to be like, and it's understandable because whoever's bringing an issue at hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they see something that needs to be rectified, right? So if a person kind of brings a conversation on the table, the way it is like I'm having an issue, so I bring it to the table. I need an answer, right? Or I need some kind of response, so as to say. But when you on the other receiving end do not give me an answer, or at least tell me that you need some time to process and that you will get back to me with an answer, I'm not going to know what's in your head if you just cross your arms and be like, hmm. I think that's where communication is very important. It's good to relate. Let's say maybe you're not in the frame of mind to have that kind of conversation or you don't have an answer. I feel like the other person will feel so much better when they know that you are thinking things through. You're not ignoring the situation at hand, but you are thinking things through and that you will come back with a more definitive answer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying. But what I'm saying is like you are talking two different things at the same time. Bring in a topic, let's discuss it,
Because
and
they interact.
then it's like okay, let's talk about this. Do you have $5 on you? Oh, I don't have it. So why don't you have $5? You should have had $5. Oh, $5 is easy to make. It's like we are talking about just $5, but here it's like you have 15 questions just going
Right, but
like,
because
and then there is like an instance where you will bring something. Okay, we have to go and buy this house. So how can we do it? It's like okay, give me time. Let me think about it. Let me break it.
mhm.
So that is different from okay something like let's talk about something, but which is different from let me go think about it. Like because
Fact.
when we say let me go think about it, that is
Right.
like give me time. Let me do all my calculations and all the addition and subtraction. Let me find what will be like the breaking ground for us to talk about it,
Right.
and then you bring like something and we have to talk. But we have to talk is like you have to listen. It's like
Well,
you
I
bring
mean,
you bring it
that's
and
why the talk
you
is
bring it
there,
and it's
right,
like you are
females?
talking to yourself. It's like
Well, I mean, the reason why there has to be a talk in certain cases, or in most cases, correct me if I'm wrong, mothers out there or people that have been in the marriage industry for for a while, or relationships for longer time frame. I believe when a situation is brought to the table, it's because it needs to be addressed, or maybe it's getting out of hand, or it could be that it's been ongoing for a long time and it hasn't been addressed. So there are certain things that you can just silently fix. And then there are other things that I also believe in relationships, they can they need to be addressed for you as a couple to move forward. And sometimes I know like ego plays a role. Sometimes people don't really want to divulge how they are feeling or how upset the other person is making them feel, because nobody wants to step on the other person's toes. But I feel like to have a healthy, wholesome relationship, those topics need to be addressed, as difficult as they are. because that's the only way you will know whether or not you're on the same page.
I agree with you, but what I'm trying to say is, yes, in a manner of trying to address the issue,
Right.
it shouldn't be like, let me just voice all that I have, but
Uh-huh.
you come in one and then I voice everything. So it's like the conversation keeps changing. We talking about one thing, and as soon as you start talking, she will explain, explain, and explain and explain, and then you come in with one, and then she will take the whole thing. It's like you just give me like a lead for
Mhm.
me to really jump on. So you don't really get to really explain everything, because it's like you say one, the next explanation like she takes over and just explain everything like you always do, basically.
Well, I explain things so the other person can know what is in my mind. So I feel like if you or anybody else, right, also kind of explains
How am I
things.
going to explain if you are explaining and explaining and explain?
No, but I do give you room.
When?
It's like now.
When?
It's like now I'm giving you room to also, like, voice your opinions, right, and your thoughts. The only the reason, like, I feel like sometimes people kind of lose out or miss out is that you as a person, you want to be heard in the way you think you should be heard, and it's the same thing with the other person. But I believe to have effective communication is to learn your partner's language, you know? So I have to put myself to learn how you want to be heard. And you also have to put yourself to learn how I want to be heard. So that at least, like, when you know you're kind of veering off, you can consolidate. Because communication is not easy. You're not, it's like friends. You don't just wake up friends. You work towards it to build something that is long, long lasting. I don't know if you have a question for me, the viewers, or
No.
no. So, how do you? I mean, on this topic of conversation and communication, how do you advise people on how to deal with conflict in marriage or in relationships?
People are different. People from different household, different background, different understanding.
From
I
your
I have
point,
I have too much patience, so I take my time.
so do I.
We will keep it like that.
Well, one thing personally, well, patience is key, is a great trait to have and a great character. But I think also, like, what's been helping us a lot is knowing when you're wrong, and also addressing the issue, and not holding on to your pride or your ego. Because at the end of the day, your household has to move forward, your relationship has to move forward. So sometimes when you kind of come together to resolve issues, it's gonna be very uncomfortable sometimes, and you don't like each other so much in those moments. But like I always say to my husband, I'm not your enemy, you're not my enemy. So at the end of the day, we want the same thing, which is to have a prosperous relationship, right, babe?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're on the same team. So if you are constantly fighting with your team members, or you're not on the same page, it's really hard to move forward, right?
Sometimes it's needed anyway.
Well, I mean, it's needed because it sharpens you, but you don't want to be tooth and nail to a point where you can't see reason and your house is falling apart. The way I look at it is that patience is very important, and being able to dumb down your ego is so important. Because if my ego is so high and yours is high up there, nobody can see reason. So it doesn't take anything out of you to say you're sorry when you have done someone wrong.
I
Or
agree.
even when you're not on the same page, just try to find level ground.
Yeah, it's
Do you
pretty
have a hard
much.
time saying sorry?
I'm used to it. Story and thank you is like an everyday thing.
Exactly. How we were read, sorry and thank you is
Like,
and you're welcome. Those are great attributes that we are taught growing up. Like, learn to say your thank you when someone does you well. Learn to say you're sorry when you have done. bad, or sometimes if you know you've reacted in a way that you're not supposed to.
I don't really react bad, so I don't really use it anyway.
Hey, see, hmm. You people are my witness. I do react bad when somebody does me bad. I don't react bad in a bad way, but I address it to say it is not okay. It is not all right because I would not treat somebody the same way like that. So, hopefully this segment has been helpful to you. I don't know, what would you want to kind of wrap up and tell our viewers
In term
regards to
in terms
this?
of communication,
Uh-huh.
um, men have so much patience. Some people don't. So you just have to work on it, and then God help us.
God help you. Women, we have so much patience too. But then it's not about who's going to like outdo who on patience. It's just a matter of knowing your goal. What are you trying to accomplish? I think that's the most important thing. Because you're two individuals. We are two different individuals. You're not always going to agree, but you will agree to disagree sometimes. But know fully well that even in your spats or the disagreements, you have a goal of where you want to go. So whether you disagree or not, you still have to sit down and try to find a path that will lead you to that victorious outcome. So if you're in a situation where you're having conflicts with your partner or you're having a disagreement with your partner, it, it's normal. It's normal. What is normal is to pretend to be perfect when you know things are not right. But whatever the situation is, address it in a humble fashion. Address it well. Have communication over it and pray on it. Like, I'm big on that. 99% of the times when he get on my nerves, I get on my knees and I pray to God before I go and say, let's have the talk. I first have the talk with God before I have the talk with him because I know if I'm going by my own feelings, I might just be off the roof.
So you hear her. We will take it like that. God help us.
Lord help us too. You know what?
Lord.
God always helps us. That's Mr. Boateng for you. He said I'm trouble, but he's the troublesome one. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. So try to be joyous in your relationship, in your situations. Yes, sometimes you might cry, but look for a solution. Being angry never solves anything. So, thank you for tuning in to MVB Life Empowerment Sessions. We will definitely catch up in the next episode where we'll bring more real stories, more real issues, and how we are tackling them. Again, once again, we're on this journey, and we know that it's going to be a wholesome, interesting journey, and there are more things for us to learn along the way.
Yes.
But we're in it to learn with you guys. So be blessed. Thank you.
All right. Bye.